Okay, we got us a 6HP21. Complaint is slips too bad to drive. We have a bunch of codes. 2DED power management, 4F81 ratio monitoring, clutch A, 507B parking gear sensor implausible, 4F8F ratio monitoring 3.2, 4F85 ratio monitoring clutch E, 4F91 ratio monitoring clutch A through D, 4F83 clutch ratio monitoring clutch C, 4F84 ratio monitoring clutch D, 4F97 ratio monitoring clutch BD, AF92 ratio monitoring clutch A through C. Alright, so basically almost every clutch is slipping. Pull our flange off the back here. It is 1 5/16", and it's a little bit on the shallow side, so it'll still work. Just push it forward a little bit, on my socket anyway. Pull the lockup O-ring off. You have 27 torques on the pump. Torques on the pan. And the pan is your filter. Pull up on this tab, so it'll allow you to take your pass-through connector out. Alright, 40 torques on the valve body.
Take off. That 6L80 that you blew right now, it's had water tear down. You know, they're trying to learn. My dad wants them to learn 6L80s and just learn one, not to teach them every single one, you know, not to like overload you. Well, let's have him tear down that 6L80 so you can show him how to do those. And he can stick to one and help you out with one unit. Let's go from there. I'm gonna, if you see him, let me bring him in to talk to me.
All right. Okay, on my 6 HPs, 6s, and my 6R80s, I always put the Sonax zip kit in the valve body. The ones that I'm able to, I also put the two Transgo kits in it. I don't think that you can put it in the 6HP21. If I can, we'll be putting those 3 kits in here. If I can't, then we'll be putting the Sonax kit in it. And when you take your valve body apart, this plate that is in here, you need this code right here, BO65. That tells you what plate you need, and go ahead and order the plate because you're going to destroy that plate trying to get it out of there. These are super bad about cracking. You get these in the kit, always replace them. Get you something in here and pull these seals out that go between the case and the valve body and the support. Okay, you can get between the drum and the case right here, push your pump out. There's an adjustment shim right here. 30 torques on these bolts. These bushings, especially in your stator, are super critical. You can see that one is worn. Always put a bushing kit in them. Okay, make sure your ring lands are okay. There's usually nothing wrong with this. Make sure your surface right here where your pump gears ride is okay. This here you're going to want to clean up, and you're going to want to check all your clearances in here as far as your teeth and everything. Usually you can just kind of glance at them and you can know pretty much if it's gonna be okay or if it's really bad. If these are really bad, these gears will be eat up and the surface right here will be chewed up. But every once in a while you get one with so many miles on it that the clearances are off on here. Go ahead and mark your gears. This one, the dots are up. You're going to want to look at your bearing in here for your converter. Make sure that it's not pitted. Your bearing here on your drum. You find the snap ring opening. Where are we at? Alright, this one's a little bit different. It doesn't have the locking tab, so it doesn't matter. If you have a 6 HP that has locking tabs where the snap ring is at, go 180 out from the opening and pry your snap ring out there. Make sure your hub's okay where the teeth of the clutches ride. These have just a little bit of wear. It's going to be okay. Same thing on all your clutch hubs. And here's another bearing inside here. It wants to stay, I'll just leave it. Another hub here. That one's getting pretty damn bad. We're going to replace that hub. The bearing here. There's a bearing here. Most of these bearings snap into place, so you can pretty much leave them in. We're going to air check this drum and make sure there's no cracks in here. Look okay. Alright, the steels got a little discolored, but they're still in good shape. We can reuse those. And we'll take the drums apart in a minute. On this one here, you have tabs down in here that hold this planet in place. You got to bend those up. Have sun gear and a bearing, race and race. Make sure those races aren't pitted on your pinions. Make sure that there's not a horrible amount of play back and forth and that they don't wobble. They're not pitted. I zip tie a lot of this stuff together. It just makes it quicker. I've been using this set of zip ties for, I don't know, at least 12 years. Pull this set of clutches out. Got some burn marks on it, but all in all, not horrible. You can see where it's starting to flake off. Alright, we already got that bearing. Pull this set of clutches out. And look pretty good still. What the heck was that? Something making noise. It shouldn't be making noise. We'll see what that is when we take the drum apart. Alright, there's a snap ring in here. Opening is at the 530 position. Sometimes you can get a big pair of snap ring pliers down in there. I don't know that I'll be able to get mine in there. May be able to just get a pry bar in there and pry the snap ring out. Okay, we have our drum, snap ring, retainer, balance piston, bell valve spring. Make sure your bell valve springs are not bent or broken. A regular piston. Make sure your surfaces where the O-rings ride are in good shape. Alright, we got our 2 half moons. Let's see. I believe that goes to this drum. We have our bevel. I think this piston was what was bouncing around. O-ring's not even holding. So our balance piston, regular piston, and our drum. On these drums, you're going to want to be really careful with this one when you're taking this bushing out. You either want to pull it out this way, or you want to find where the seam is in the bushing and split it before it gets down here and hits this sleeve and tears this sleeve up. And be very careful that you don't mess that sleeve up or you're buying a drum. Alright, on our drum here, these are critical bushings also. We have our snap ring, plate. This is going to be loose, don't worry about that. Bell valve plate and our piston. We have our snap ring, retainer, bell valve, balance piston, regular piston. Other side of the drum, 2 half moons, bell valve plate, and our piston. Okay, you get this one written up. We're just going to need a LS kit, filter, which is the pan, bushing kit, a clutch hub, the Sonax kit for sure, the separator plate for the valve body, and then I'll have to see if the Transgo kits will fit this. I do not believe that they will. If they will, I'll be getting those also. the torque converter. I guess that's it for this one. We'll see you when we get the rebuild.